In life, we have so many beautiful moments, like your first kiss, the first time you fell in love, winning some huge sporting event, or giving birth to your first child. But for so much of us, our life just feels the same. A lot of days just go day to day, and then the months go month to month, and eventually a year has gone on. And when you reflect back on that year, you might think, what was actually really meaningful from the time that I spent during that year? What were the moments that really stood out for me? A lot of the times, the memories that really last, the moments that you'll think about for the rest of your life, are the times that we said yes, that we stepped outside of our comfort zone, that we did something a little bit different. Recently, I've been really inspired by this guy, Elliot Bisnow, who is a super impressive, very interesting person. And his story was, he was in college and he wanted to make a bit of extra cash, so he started doing sales for a magazine. And eventually, after a lot of trial and error and cold calling and throwing things at the wall, trying to see what would work, he started to become pretty good at it and started making a pretty good living for a pretty young guy. He then wanted to connect with really interesting entrepreneurs. So he decided, instead of trying to see what was out there, he was going to make it himself. So he organized this really cool event, got some of the most successful young entrepreneurs in America to come, and got the entire thing sponsored using and leveraging his sales experience. Everyone at that event had such a good time that they did it again and again, and it eventually became this big company called Summit Series, where they host amazing entrepreneurs and cultural experiences. They've had people like Ray Dalio, Kobe Bryant, Jessica Alba, Kendrick Lamar, all of these amazing people at their events, and it all snowballed from this one idea and this one action that this guy took. And so today, what I want to share with you is some of the ways that we can leverage some of the ideas that I've learned from Elliot to try to create memories in your life that will last a lifetime. Number one, adventures happen to the adventurous. Elliot explains that it's not just about taking adventures like going on a big trip and doing something, in wildlife that's adventurous, although that obviously counts, but so much of your life can actually be adventure. So when you say yes to catching up with a friend or traveling through your city and going to a different exhibition or doing a poetry class or doing different things, the more times you say yes and actually think about your life as an adventure and what could actually be a new adventure, sometimes on the other side of your comfort zone, what exists isn't 1 time better or 2 times better, but it can be absolutely exponentially better. It could be a new friend, a new relationship, a new experience, a new idea that could completely transform your life. So taking that mindset of adventures only happen to the adventurous and thinking about where could there be your next adventure in your life could be huge. Mulling on that idea and thinking about it, I decided to say yes to a bit of an adventure. And next month, I'm actually going to a conference in Croatia on a private island. It's called Baby Bathwater. And it's this event where all of these amazing entrepreneurs come from around the world and connect in this island for this really cool experience. And it's definitely outside of my comfort zone. I'm traveling by myself. I really don't know many of the people there, if anyone at all, but I'm going because it's going to be an adventure. It's going to be a mind-opening experience, and it'll be something hopefully that will create a lifetime memory for my life. Number 2, don't keep it real, keep it surreal. Elliot was once asked by a friend, "Hey Elliot, do you keep it real?" He's like, "Yeah, of course I keep it real." And he's like, "Do you keep it real?" And he's like, "Yeah, I keep it real." And he's like, "That's your problem. You got to keep it surreal." I thought that was kind of a funny little story, but I reflected on that, and I think that there's a lot of power in that little story and that mindset of don't keep it real, keep it surreal. When I think about keeping it real, it's often about keeping it real within the expectations of society, my friends, my family. Like, what would they want me to do? How could I live the best life, with a very small box, Maybe you're thinking about going to university and getting the typical job because you're trying to keep it real and you're trying to be, authentic to that. But when you start thinking about this idea of keeping it surreal and thinking about, okay, well, what would happen if I completely flip the script? Like, what would be the most fun that I could have in this adventure? What's the most fun I could have in my work? How could I do the most impactful thing? Who are the people that are doing the most impactful things in the world? How can I reach out and do something, times 10, times 100 bigger than maybe these keeping it real ideas? And so this mindset of keeping it surreal can actually open up your mind to think more creatively and take bigger actions that may fail, but may lead to something amazing. Through Elliot's life, that actually happened for him many times. Building that event was something where he really kept it surreal. And more recently, he ended up buying a mountain. So he bought a whole little mountain where people snowboard. He's building an entire village. He's got houses, arts, music, all kinds of amazing events on this mountain. I think it's called Powder Mountain. It's one of those ideas that sounds absurd, but by keeping it surreal, he takes big actions and he tries to do really interesting things. Number 3, create amazing moments with loved ones. One of the most enriching experiences in all of our lives, of course, can be the moments that we spend with loved ones, whether it be a friend, a partner, a family member. Actually creating these amazing moments with those people can be so much more meaningful than if it was just yourself. Taking that in mind, I was thinking about how can I leverage that idea for my life to create memories that really last a lifetime. One of my goals this year, I had 2 goals. One was to do a loving gesture for my mom and a loving gesture for my dad. I spend a lot of time with my parents and I do really appreciate them for everything that they've given me in my life. I try to be a good child and good son to them. I think about all of the memories we have, and we have so many beautiful, nice moments together, but a lot of them, they can sometimes blur together and they can just be a nice collection of really nice memories. But I was thinking, what would happen if I thought a little bit out of the box and tried to do something a little bit different? And how could I create something that would really stand out? And so recently I decided to surprise my mom by taking her out for dinner and then taking her to see Norah Jones. And that was a musician that we both grew up listening to. I think my mum introduced me to her and I've really enjoyed her music for a while and we've enjoyed it together. So to surprise her, to take her to that concert and to be able to experience that together, we can create an enriched memory that can last a lifetime. And also now when we hear that music, it can bring us back to that moment because it's a sensory experience as well. It was with a loved one, it was a surprise, it was out of our ordinary routine of what we would usually do to catch up. And it's something that I felt really good about by getting to do something really nice for my mother. So I'm still thinking about what I'm gonna do for my dad, but I do really like this idea of thinking about what's something different that you can do. It doesn't have to be a dollar value. It could be going for a hike on the mountains. It could be, camping somewhere. It could be writing them a song, something that just stands out from the ordinary of how you usually interact with them. And doing that with someone that you really care about can be really powerful. And I know in my life, the memories that really stand out are often with loved ones. And those are the memories that I really, really cherish. So taking that in mind, what's something that you could do for a loved one? Maybe there's someone that you really appreciate in your life. What's something unique, different, interesting that you could do for them that would stand the test of a lifetime and really create a beautiful memory? Our entire life is just, at the end of the day, a collection of memories. And so why not take the effort and mindfulness to really create some beautiful memories? So as we age in our life and we reflect on our life, we think of so many beautiful moments that we'll really appreciate our time here on Earth. So I hope you found this video useful. I'd love to know if there's an action that you want to take that's going to create a lifetime memory in your life. Or let me know if there is something that stood out for you. Like, what are some of the memories that you really cherish? I'd love to hear it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.